Disclaimer. This guide is the opinion of one person which attempts to balance out the market viability of the anniversary packs while taking the needs of players and collectors into consideration. It is not a definitive guide, but a starting point for stores which are unsure about how much product they should order. Always consult your players if uncertain on demand. So today we're doing something a bit different from my usual schedules. Today we will be focusing on something new, and by something new, I mean something old. That's right, we are talking about the Legendary Collection 25th Anniversary Edition. I originally had no plans to cover this release, but after a lengthy conversation with a locals owner at the weekend, I felt like I had to. Before I go any further, I would like to make it known that I am a bit under the weather. It is that time of year, and my voice is not what it normally would be, so please bear with me as I try and get through this. So for those not in the know, Legendary Collection is a set that was originally released in 2010 and then reprinted in 2013 and 2017. The set is supposed to be a celebration of the game's history, most notably the early history of the game. Legendary Collection began as a binder set before becoming a box set, and the contents were always the same across the releases. In every Legendary Collection you would get 3 ultra rare non-playable Egyptian god cards, Obelisk the Tormentor, Slifer the Sky Dragon, and the Ring Dragon of Ra, as well as 3 playable ultra rares in the form of Blue Eyes White Dragon, Dark Magician, and Red Eyes Black Dragon. On top of those promo cards you would also get 6 reprint booster packs, those being the Legend of Blue Eyes White Dragon, Metalvaders, Spell Ruler, Pharaohs Servant, Dark Crisis, and Invasion of Chaos. With Konami's Yu-Gi-Oh! Card game about to hit its 25th anniversary from its original release in Japan in 1998, they have gone ahead and reprinted the Legendary Collection once more. Though this time there's a few small differences. For one, I do not believe that this new printing is coming with a game board like the 2013 and 2017 editions. And to further split this set from early releases, they will now be including some new promo cards, that being one of 7 quarter century rares. No one knows what the quarter century rares look like, and no one knows which cards are going to be printed in quarter century rare. It is likely we will find out closer to the date, but for the time being, it is a complete mystery. So far you're probably thinking, so what, this isn't very special, in fact it's quite lackluster for a 25th anniversary celebration, and I'd agree. While I've been wanting this set to be reprinted for a few years now, just for the sake of making some old cards more widely available, Legendary Collection itself isn't really going to get people hyped for this anniversary. The MSRP is listed as $32 American, which will probably come to about £28 in the United Kingdom. If we take away the promo cards, which are actually quite worthless, then £28 for 6 booster packs is actually really bad value for money. So as milestone products go, it's not very impressive at all. But there is a big little caveat here. The Legendary Collection is not what we're interested in for this anniversary, it's what comes after. Konami have made it known that they are going to be reprinting certain classic booster packs as boxes for this 25th anniversary edition. We are going to be seeing booster box reprints of Legend of Blue Eyes White Dragon, Metalvaders, Spell Ruler, Pharaohs Servant, and Invasion of Chaos. You'll probably notice that Dark Crisis is not included in these 5 booster box reprints. That is because Dark Crisis is, quite frankly, a terrible, god-awful booster pack. You're basically buying them hoping to pull a Secret Rare Vampire Lord or an Exodia Necros, 2 cards that are frankly not played in any format, be it modern or retro, and in Unlimited aren't really all that as collectibles either. So if you're looking to get Dark Crisis, the only way you're going to get it is through the Legendary Collection, but again, paying all that money for packs of Dark Crisis, it's just not worth it, the cards aren't justified. And that has been a very common complaint with these Legendary Collections. They keep reprinting these same 6 packs. 5 of them you can understand, but Dark Crisis is just completely out of place. If they had printed, say, Pharaonic Guardian or Legacy of Darkness or even Magician's Force, that would have been much more well received. But unfortunately none of that is happening, it is but a pipe dream. So at the weekend I went to an Edison format tournament and I got into a lengthy conversation with the store owner. He told me that the way Konami was doing the distribution for the 25th anniversary products was very time limited. Long story short, all stores have been given a set deadline for later this month where they must make all their orders in one go. All the 25th anniversary products from the Legendary Collection all the way to the boxes are being printed as print to demand only. They are not going to do a second print run. What you order is what you get. No more, no less. If you order too little, tough. So Konami is going full on FOMO mode with this product. They are making everyone scared of missing out on it. Now I can understand why Konami are taking this approach. It's going to make them a lot of money. But at the same time, they're asking people to order a lot of product that they know very little about. We don't know what the reprint packs are going to be like exactly. We don't know how the card stock is going to be. We don't know if there's going to be any alterations to the card. And most importantly, we don't even know what is in the Legendary Collection. For all we know, a card shop could order a massive amount of Legendary Collection and then find out that all 7 quarter century rares are essentially worthless. So Konami are asking stores to put a lot of faith in them on these products. When I spoke to the shop owner, I got a sense of unease about this product. On one hand, it seems like a no-brainer that it should be bought, but on the other hand, it feels kind of risky as a product. What if too much of this stuff gets printed and they just can't sell it? Or what if the market value on these cards and packs just collapse? It's really going to be a time of uncertainty. And after having that conversation, it sat on my mind for quite a bit. So I did the only thing I could do, and that was sit down and start writing. I did some research. I looked at the original set. I looked at the previous Legendary Collection prints. I consulted friends of mine who were collectors. I tried to look at this from the perspective of a collector and a player. And what I did with that information was I took it and I tried my best to write something of a buyer's guide that I'd like to think will be useful to both card shops and players in deciding whether or not the 25th anniversary classic booster pack reprints are something they would want to invest in. So let us go through this document quickly, starting with the Legend of Blue Eyes White Dragon. There's a few changes that have been made for these packs. So we know for a fact, just going on the website here, images that Konami are using on their websites, we know that the 25th anniversary reprint packs are going to have a 25th anniversary logo on them. This will tell them apart from previous pack reprints. Whether or not this has any effects on the cards, we don't know. And interestingly, we do not know whether or not this will have any effects on the pull rates of cards. So let's just have a quick talk about pull rates. Before 2016, Yu-Gi-Oh! Used a different system for pull rates than it does now. So today we use the post-2016 system, which is every core booster pack comes with one holofoil card. So no matter what, you are always getting, at minimum, a super rare. And when this change occurred, Konami increased the available ultras and secret rares in any given set. And on top of that, they also doubled the pull rates. So before 2016, if you were to buy a 24-pack booster box, your odds of pulling an ultra rare were 1 in 12 packs, meaning that on average you would get 2 ultra rares a box, and your odds on pulling a secret rare were 1 in 23, meaning that you would likely get 1 secret rare in every box. Post 2016, they doubled the rates, so now in a box you get a ultra rare in 1 of 6 packs, meaning that you're going to be guaranteed 4 ultra rares in a box. And likewise, secret rares became 1 in 12, meaning you're guaranteed 2 of them in a box. However, these 5 classic Duel Monster sets were not printed with those ratios in mind. The number of available holofoil cards is significantly lower than what you see in modern packs. For that reason alone, and the fact that the previous Legendary Collection reprints worked that way, including 2017, I personally believe that they are going to use the old card ratios for the reprints. So if you buy a 24 pack box of Legend of Blue Eyes White Dragon, then you're going to pull 2 ultra rares and 1 secret rare. And the reason I say they're going to use this specific version and not the original 2002 distribution method where you weren't even guaranteed a secret in box is because in the 2010, 2013 and 2017 reprints of these packs from Legendary Collection, they used the same system for rares that packs from those eras did. That being, you would always get a rare in a pack, and if you pulled a holofoil in your pack, you would get a rare and a holofoil. Assuming that these new reprints follow the patterns of the previous Legendary Collection prints, then it's most likely that they're going to use this ratio for their box distribution. Just keep in mind, all this is speculation at the moment. We still have no information on how any of this is going to work, and it's likely we won't know until the packs have actually been released. So we can't really make buying decisions in confidence based off these unknowns. What we can do, however, is look at the known information, that being what's actually in these packs. So that's exactly what I've done. I've gone through all 5 of the sets that are getting box reprints, and I've listed all the significant cards I think either players or collectors will want to chase. I have then graded these sets based on how good they would be for players of certain retro formats, and how desired they would be as an overall product, taking not just collectors and modern players into account here, but also just how well this product is likely to sell should you stock it in your store. So to begin, let's go through the first Yu-Gi-Oh set, Legend of Blue Eyes White Dragon. Off the bat, I will say this set is absolutely terrible for players. There are some strong cards in there, the original power spells like Monster Reborn, Raigeki and Darkhole, but there's a lot of old formats they're banned in. You can't play Raigeki in Goat, or Edison format, or even Plant format. You can play it in Modern, and some people even choose to run free of it, but there's been so many reprints of it. And in higher rarities too, such as Ultra and Secret, Legend of Blue Eyes only gives out Super Rare. So if you're going to be buying this box, you're probably not going to want to buy it in hopes of boosting your deck or having anything playable. Legend of Blue Eyes is frankly a collector's set. The collector's set, in fact. It's the best selling pack of all time for a reason. It's the most reprinted pack of all time for a reason. It was in distribution longer than any pack has ever been for a good reason. If we look at the card list here, we can see straight away, bam, Trihorn Dragon, Secret Rare, max rarity of the card. That's something collectors are going to want, as well as the Blue Eyes White Dragon and Ultra Rare. Collectors will eat that bite up. Other collectible holos include Flame Swordsman in Super, which is the max rarity, Dark Magician in Ultra, Gaia in Ultra. Then we have all 5 pieces of Exodia in Ultra Rare, and Gaia the Dragon Champion in Secret Rare. And let's not forget Red Eyes Black Dragon either, which is just like slap bang in the middle of this. Still, regardless of my negatives about the set from a player's perspective, it is still the first set of Yu-Gi-Oh! And the highest selling pack overall. It's very popular with collectors. It's always going to be sought after because it was the first set and has many anime cards, such as Blue Eyes White Dragon, Dark Magician, Flame Swordsman, Red Eyes Black Dragon, blah 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 blah. In terms of market, I reckon this set will have a very big initial sales rush, and then slow down. But in the long term, it will still be a steady seller as people continue to buy it to try and pull the Blue Eyes White Dragon and other high rarity cards. No matter how you look at it, from a business perspective, this is the box. Remember, this is print to demand only, no second prints. Once these packs are gone, they're gone. If your store is a player-focused store, then people aren't going to come in emptying cases of this in one go like they do with modern sets. But if you are a business that's focused on selling to collectors, that being you're in the business of selling collectibles, this is absolutely something you'll want to buy. So if I was to grade the Legend of Blue Eyes overall, it's a D tier if you're a GOAT format player. It's a D tier if you're an Edison format player. It's a D tier if you're a Plant format player. And it's D tier if you're a Modern format player. That said, as a product, as something you would stock in a shop and sell, this thing is 100% bona fide S tier. It is absolutely guaranteed to sell. I cannot imagine it doing any worse than breaking even. And I'm saying that as someone who is skeptical. Is it possible that the market for unlimited LOB could crash from overstocking? It absolutely is possible that could happen. Konami have not printed LOB boxes since 2004. And frankly, it's kinda hard to set the bar anyway, as the value for LOB didn't really start the jump until after 2015. If you go to the late 2000s or early 2010s, the cards weren't really worth that much at all. So, in conclusion, my warning would be do not gamble a fortune on this pack. Buy what you'd be willing to sit on without risk, because should worse come to worse, you will just likely break even. Again, I cannot imagine this pack ever becoming a money loss. I would be wary of the set should Konami choose to include a holofoil in every pack, but for reasons explained previously, I just don't see that happening. So yeah, overall, this is a pretty safe buy. S tier as a product, D tier is something you would actually use for play. So let's move on to Metalvaders, the second set of Yu-Gi-Oh! Metalvaders is an interesting one because it is actually the largest core set of Yu-Gi-Oh! Ever made. If we look at the set size for each pack, Legend of Blue Eyes contains 126 cards, Spell Ruler contains 104, Pharaohs Servant 105, Invasion of Chaos 112, and then Metalvaders contains a whopping 144 cards. Let's just take a quick look at the noteworthy cards for Metalvaders. On the collectible side, we have the Secret Rare Gate Guardian. Summon Skull is an ultra rare, and I'll be honest, Ultra Summon Skull, very nice holofoil. Black Skull Dragon is in there as an ultra rare, that's a very nice card to have as a collector. Time Wizard is a super rare, we all like that. And finally, Thousand Dragon is a secret rare, the max rarity for it. We like that as well, I don't even know if it's had a holofoil printing since then. On the play side, this is actually kind of an important set for GOAT players. It has the Magician of Faith, Sangan, Thunder Dragon, Solemn Judgment, Mirror Force, and Heavy Storm. All 6 of these cards see heavy play in GOAT format. Sangan, Judgment, Mirror Force, and Storm also see plenty of play in Edison format. So if you play either of those two formats, there are cards in here you're gonna want. So overall, Metalvaders is a pretty balanced pack. The number of chase cards is pretty small when you consider there's 144 cards in this set. You're not actually going to be chasing many of them. That said, again, there's a lot of playable GOAT format cards in here. Every noteworthy card in here has been printed close to death, but again, Solemn Judgment is holding value despite all that. This pack's worth buying to sell to both collectors and players, but the amount you want is nowhere near the LOB level. Your collectors are going to want to get their Gate Guardian, Summon Skull, Black Skull Dragon, and they're probably just going to be happy with getting at least that. Your players are maybe going to want the Thunder Dragon and Solemn Judgment, but besides that, the other playable cards have many cheap reprints. There are many reprints of Magician of Faith, there's a ton of reprints for Sangan, and there's a ton of reprints for Mirror Force. For the modern players, Change of Heart just got reprinted in Magnificent Mavens as an ultra rare, which is the same rarity as this set. One of the positives of these old packs is the cards are very likely to be pre-errata and use their old text. So overall, Metalvaders is still a good nostalgic set. It's going to be most popular in the GOAT format community and have some buzz with collectors. So for that, I have to give it a B tier for GOAT. But as an Edison set, it's a C tier. Overall, as a product, I'm going to give it a B overall. Yeah, you're not going to buy nearly as much of it as you are Legend of Blue Eyes. So next up we have Spell Ruler, formerly known as Magic Ruler. This set is where things get a bit crazy with the card game. If you look at this set list, there's a lot of cards in it that are either currently banned or have been banned at some point. So let's go through it. Starting with collectors, the Blue Eyes Toon Dragon is one of the secret rares of the set. And man, this is such a nice secret rare. It's one of those collector cards where it's so appealing that even non-collectors kind of want it. This set gains a lot of collector's point almost entirely off the back of that one card, because again, it is a secret rare Blue Eyes card. And the Toon cards in general have a lot of fans. So Relinquished in Ultra Rare, it's a very nice print of the card. Relinquished obviously isn't something you can just drop in any deck. If you're playing Relinquished, then you're playing a Relinquished deck, which thankfully is something viable you can play in both GOAT and Edison. Upstart Goblin is a fantastic common. You're going to be using this card in every format. GOAT players run it, Edison players run it, Modern players run it. This card is super good. Snatch Steal, this card is broken, it's legal in GOAT. Every single GOAT deck plays it almost without fail. You're going to want it. Ultra rare is the max rarity. Confiscation, broken card, banned in every popular format, but there's some people out there who like to collect banned cards, so get it just in case. Or get it if you're one of those people who happens to like the 2006 formats, I guess. Delinquent Duo, this is one of the Trinity in GOAT. Ultra is the second highest rarity. If you're a GOAT format player, you absolutely have to have this card in your deck. If you're trying to get into GOAT format and you don't own Delinquent Duo, these reprints are going to be the time to get it. Absolutely essential. The Forceful Sentry is the third card in this set that whips from your hand, the other two being Confiscation, Delinquent Duo. Combined, these three cards are known in Japan as the three Sacred Treasures. Unsurprisingly, they're all banned today. So again, if you like picking up banned cards, then you can go for all three of these for your collection. Mystical Space Typhoon in Ultra Rare. This card is a staple in pretty much all of the classic formats, though it's only 1 in GOAT, 1 in Edison, and 2 in Plant. If you're buying Spell Ruler as a player, you're probably not going to complain if you pull this card. You don't need to pull it multiple times. If you get the one Ultra Rare MST, you can put it in your deck to show off. Giant Trunade is a super powerful super rare. You can use 3 in GOAT, 1 in Edison, busted card. Painful Choice, one of the most powerful Yu-Gi-Oh cards ever made. Absolutely disgustingly broken. It's so broken that a local in my city is planning to run a no ban list tournament, but because of tear elements, they've put the condition that no one's allowed to play Painful Choice. That's how good this card is. Focusing on players again, we have Cyberjar for GOAT. Though it's not seeing much play these days, the effect is powerful, but it's also letting Chaos Turbo players pretty much refill their hand, which you don't want. Giant Rat, Senju of the Thousand Hands, Shining Angel, and Mystic Tomato are all very good search cards. Messenger of Peace is one of those weird little anti-meta spells that people just like to buy. It actually holds a fair bit of value. And finally, Serpent Night Dragon is just your secret rare for collectors. So yeah, overall, in terms of spells alone, it is probably the strongest Yu-Gi-Oh set ever made. Spell Ruler's in an interesting place where it manages to be a decent set for both players and collectors. Collectors actually do like collecting the power cards. Even the collectors who aren't focused on playing the game, they just like having these broken cards. They are so powerful that you want them for your binder because they are important pieces of Yu-Gi-Oh history. They are like the Power 9 of Yu-Gi-Oh! If you're a GOAT player, it's an essential set. If you're an Edison player, there's some cards of interest here, but it's not really what you're looking for as an Edison player. The cards you want to get, you're going to get, but there's not many of them you're actually going to want. So overall, this is A tier for GOAT players, C tier for Edison players, and it's pretty much a B tier product again. This is good to buy, and if your local community is super focused on GOAT, then you might even want to buy extra boxes of this set. If your community doesn't care about GOAT format, however, then maybe just buy a regular amount. The low rarity cards in this set aren't that powerful, and it's only really the high rarities you're going to be chasing. Next up we have Pharaohs Servant, and I'm just going to speak with my heart here for a second and say this set is super underrated. Collectors don't really talk about it much besides the secret rare Jinzo. Like low-key, the set does not have a lot of power cards, but it does have a lot of cards that you can use as tech pieces, or side deck cards, or utility cards. Let's just go through some of them for a second. Dust Tornado. In formats like GOAT and Edison, where MST is limited to 1, it is not uncommon to see people play 1 Dust Tornado or even 3 Dust Tornadoes spread out between their main and side deck. So being able to pull it as a super from this set is pretty nice. Caller Haunted is still used a fair bit in GOAT and Edison, so being able to put it as an ultra rare in this set is nice. Mirrorwall is a super slept on card. It's seeing more play in Goat and Edison these days, and if you want to get in holofoil, super rare is pretty nice. Nobleman of Crossout is just, ooh, that card is MVP in Goat format. That card is so sick, it is hot. It will absolutely ruin your opponent's day if you hit it on them. While not main decked in Edison, it is a common side deck piece. In Goat format, oh, you gotta main this card. If you could play 3, you would play 3, but unfortunately it is only limited to 2. Nobleman of Extermination, basically Nobleman of Crossout, but for back row. It's pretty good. It's never actually had a holofoil printing, so this is the max rarity. And it's a low rarity card, so you got a good chance of pulling it. Premature Burial as an Ultra is nice. Premature Burial, of course, being one of the... It's a pretty essential card. You're absolutely going to want to play with it. If you don't have one, then, I don't know, try your luck pulling an Ultra. You won't regret it if you get it. It's a very nice card. Prohibition as a rare is nice. This card is always gaining value. Up until a few months ago, it was hovering around the £10 mark, but because of Mystic Mind's band, it has now dropped a fair bit. Prohibition is a very high skill card that is difficult to use, and it's going to fall out of favour a lot in super diverse formats, but overall, I would say this is a very good card if you do decide to play it. If you're the type of player who can get the maximum use out of this card, then this is a card you absolutely should go after. It never hurts to keep a playset of it. So regardless of your format of choice, whether it be Goat, Edison, Plant, Modern, or any other format, I'd say Prohibition, nice card. Cold Wave, it's a common, it's cracked, it's banned, you can use it in Edison to ruin people's day, play it. Limiter Removal is a super, it's at 3 in Goat, but you're going to want to be using it in Edison format. So if you want to wipe someone out in one turn, play the Machina Gear Frame, search the Fortress, summon the Fortress, Limiter Removal, rack your opponent for 8,600 damage, GG. It being limited to 1's quite convenient because if you do decide to go with the super rare, you only need one of them. Thousand Eyes Restrict, if you're playing any Metamorphosis deck in Goat format, including Goat Control itself, then you need 3000 Eyes Restrict. There have been plenty of reprints of this card, but the ultra rare is absolutely gorgeous. It is the max rarity of the card. If you really want to show off, go and get it. But yeah, super strong card. Goblin Attack Force is a pretty decent Warrior Toolbox card. I guess you could use it in Edison, but why would you? Play it in Goat if you feel like it. It's got its place. Gear 3 the Iron Knight has an entire deck built around it in Goat format. So if you want to play the Gear 3 hand control deck, then hey, there's a super rare right there. Finally, Imperial Order. IO just got banned again last year. You're going to pick it up just in case it does come back off the list again. Pharaohs Servant, very good set for retro players. I would even say, if you were to buy any of these old boxes for draft play, Pharaohs Servant might be the best box for draft play, in all honesty. Even with my personal bias taken into account, I can't actually go crazy with any scores on this set. As a product, it's a B tier. You're going to be able to sell it to your players, but once your players have the cards they want, they'll be pretty much done. Collectors are pretty much going to be chasing Jinzo, I guess, and nothing else. Maybe a Buster Blader in Ultra Rare, which I forgot to include on the list. If you're a Goat format player, it's a B tier set. It gives you a lot of utility and tech cards. If you're an Edison player, it's a B tier set for the same reason. So overall, I have to say Pharaohs Servant is a B tier product. Not a bad product. If you're a player, buy it. But overall, as something you would sell, it's a B tier product. Finally, we have Invasion of Chaos, a set that differentiates itself from the other four by being originally released in 2004, as opposed to 2002 like the first 4 sets of Yu-Gi-Oh! 2 years is a pretty big time jump to do on these packs, but there's a reason for it, and that reason is simply the Invasion of Chaos was arguably the greatest Yu-Gi-Oh! Booster pack ever made, and that opinion was one that stuck around for a very long time. The power level of the cards in this pack was like nothing we had ever seen before. It completely power crept the game, gave us some of the craziest decks of the era, and it's pretty much the reason why we have a ban list. It has the most powerful monster cards of the 5 reprint sets, containing the godlike card Chaos Emperor Dragon Envoy of the End, as well as Black Luster Soldier Envoy of the Beginning, and the Dark Magician of Chaos. 3 incredibly powerful cards, 2 of which are so strong that they've received erratas just so they could be unbanned in modern play. If you're a GOAT format player, this set is the backbone of your format. A lot of the cards in this pack you will be using in your decks. Berserk Gorilla is a very good rare that you're either going to be mailing or siding at 3. You see that card a lot. Free the Brave Wanderer is a very good card in Edison format. You play it in the Fairy deck, so you can manipulate your graveyard to summon the likes of Archlord Christia. You're definitely going to want this card if you're playing Fairies in Edison. Gigantes is a very good common that you'll use in like Earth Beatdown and Earth Toolbox decks. Gren Marju de Isa is one of those commons that was slept on for a long time. And then Part of the Sires got released and the card just popped off as its own deck. You're only really going to play it in Modern. You could try making builds for older formats, but Part of the Sires didn't exist. So getting enough cards removed from play to make it a threat is something of a task. Curse Seal of Forbidden Spell is a very good side deck card. I'd say you could play it in pretty much any format. It even saw a resurgence last year during Despia format. Chain Disappearance is a nice card in old formats. It's seeing quite a bit of play in GOAT, but mainly Edison format, where if you hit it early enough, it completely hard counters the Frog deck. Skullmark Ladybug is super hot in Modern at the moment. People use it to abuse the time rules. You are seeing people side 3 of them, and it's even been in YCS winning deck lists. Ryukoki is a super good common for zombie decks in GOAT format. Smashing Ground is a super good 1-for-1 removal in GOAT and to a lesser extent Edison. Dimension Fusion is a super expensive ultra rare card that is used in GOAT. It is banned in pretty much every other major format. The card is super busted, there's an entire deck built around it. If you can afford to, you can buy 3 of them and build the Reasoning Gate deck, but otherwise you're going to be completely priced out of that deck. This print might actually get people playing the deck on paper, we will have to see. Finally, Compulsory Evacuation Device is a card I was originally going to put as only good for old formats, but I've noticed recently at my locals that people have been talking about this card a lot. So it looks like it's been making a resurgence in Modern. So overall, you can't really go wrong with this set either. From a collector standpoint, it's got so many good ultras, and the secret rare Chaos Emperor Dragon, you're going to want to buy it as a collector. As a player, it is the backbone of your GOAT format decks. And as Edison format is concerned, there are plenty of decent tech cards you can use out of the low rarity card pool in this set. It would also be amiss of me to not talk about Chaos Sorcerer, a common which relative to its time of release was probably the most powerful common card ever made. Like, there are common cards that are more broken and have been on the ban list, such as Cold Wave, but in terms of format defining cards that you build entire decks around, Chaos Sorcerer is absolutely up there, and it was only a common. So to sum Invasion of Chaos up, it was the first Yu-Gi-Oh set to receive a special edition. That's how in demand it was. In terms of nostalgia factor and fan favourites and collector favourites and collectability, this set is probably number 2 behind LOB in terms of demand. And when it comes to retro Yu-Gi-Oh playability, I would say this is one of the best sets of the reprints. So overall, it was a groundbreaking Yu-Gi-Oh set. It is A tier as a product, A tier for GOAT format, and B tier if you play Edison. So now with all 5 reprint sets gone over, let's take a look at our final standings. Legend of Blue Eyes, White Dragon, D grade for GOAT play, D grade for Edison play, S tier as a product. Metalvaders, B tier for GOAT play, C tier for Edison play, B tier as a product. Spell Ruler, A tier for GOAT play, C tier for Edison play, B tier as a product. Pharaohs Servant, B tier for GOAT play, B tier for Edison play, B tier as a product. Invasion of Chaos, A tier for GOAT play, B tier for Edison play, and A tier as a product. Now that you've listened to me babble on for ages, you're going to want to ask the most important question of all. How much of each product should I order? Simple. Legend of Blue Eyes, order as much as you are comfortable with. Maybe less if collectors are not your priority, but either way, you shouldn't have to worry too much if you do decide to order a large amount of it. I do have my own concerns about this set due to how much of it is expected to sell, but in terms of a product that people will want to buy, I just cannot see it going away. There are always going to be people who want to try and pull a Blue Eyes White Dragon, or a Red Eyes Black Dragon, or a Dark Magician, or the 5 pieces of Exodia. When I spoke to the store owner, he did tell me that when Pokemon did their anniversary reprints, people were very big on buying those. Yes, they weren't exact reprints of the original 1999 Wizards of the Coast cards, but they were still close enough that people were happy to buy them so they could try and pull, you know, the Charizard and all that sort of stuff. LOB is much in the same boat. It's going to be something that casual buyers love to do, and collectors are going to keep buying it out of habit. That's what I personally think. MRD, you should probably buy more than the other B tiers, just because of the collector appeal, but that's only if you want to focus on collectors. If you're focusing on players, you could probably buy the same amount of Metalvaders as you would the other B tiers. Spell Ruler, if you're focusing on GOAT players, then buy as much as your GOAT format players demand. If your GOAT format players want to get this set because they need the power cards or they just want to rarity bump their decks, then buy what they want. You can buy for collectors too on this set, if that's a factor. So you might be in a situation where people will buy one box, get their Blue Eyes Toon Dragon, and be happy. Pharaohs Servant, I'd say buy as much as your retro players are going to need. This set is designed for the players first and foremost. Collectors will probably just get it for their Jinzo and then dip. Focus on your players here. Invasion of Chaos, buy more than the previous 3. You could probably buy close to what you're getting for LOB, if not an equal amount. It really depends on your preference. Players are going to want to open it. Collectors are going to want to open it. It is another safe pack. So that's my analysis on the 25th anniversary reprints. But as I said, I did seek a second opinion. So here is what my collector friend had to say when I messaged them about it. I think you were right about those reprint boxes. What I would say is this. Are the people likely to buy these packs / boxes from that shop specifically more play orientated or collector minded? Spell Ruler and Pharaohs Servant will definitely interest the players. I think, to an extent, Legend of Blue Eyes White Dragon is pretty much something that any store will need to have. It is the original set, and I think there is still plenty of hype factor over trying to pull a Blue Eyes, Dark Magician, or Exodia. It is also the set that will probably get a lot of mentions in the mainstream whenever there are 25th anniversary articles / mentions. Metalvaders should have a similar draw, but I don't think it is as iconic, even if it is the second ever set. I would add Summon Skull, Black Skull Dragon, and Gate Guardian as hype pulls, though I don't think people will buy those packs as much for that reason over Legend of Blue Eyes. Invasion of Chaos should be a big pack, as it's always one of the big deals on vintage openings with Chaos Emperor Dragon, Blackluster Soldier, and Dark Magician of Chaos potential pulls, but if, as you say, GOAT isn't being played, then old and limited prints of these big cards are still relatively affordable now, and all have been reprinted to death over the years. And finally, referring to the Legendary Collection here, I would say that Dark Crisis is easily the weakest set of the lot. Nobody has anywhere near the nostalgia for cards like Exodia Necros, and there aren't many big cards that need reprints. Skill Drain was worth something, but has been milked to death by Konami recently. I think this set is weak from a collector and player standpoint. Konami have definitely put stores and vendors into a difficult position with the pre-orders for the 25th anniversary celebration sets. And as a distant observer, I don't really envy their position. If I was the person making the decisions on how much a store should order, I would have no clue where to go with this. In fact, I wouldn't blame a store if they decided to just go pre-orders only on this stuff. They'd probably be massively understocking relative to the hype that some of these packs are going to have, but this is their business we're talking about here. Thank you to everyone who's watched this video. If you happen to be a vendor or store owner and you think this video was worth any lick of value, then I appreciate you for watching it. I originally made my document to help some local store owners I know. Again, this is just my opinion, but I do want to help them get the most out of this 25th anniversary reprint. There's a lot of hype going around about these packs, and fingers crossed, maybe Konami will reprint more classic sets in the future. We'll just have to wait and see. So that's all for now. Thank you all again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.